Alright guys, as promised, here is the top 10 INITIO Parfums fragrances video. I've got 11 fragrances though, so I'm going to fit in an extra one, as I always do. But if you want to find out about these fragrances, 11 INITIO Parfums fragrances and how I rank them, then please stay tuned. Yes, today I'm talking about INITIO Parfums. I've got 11 fragrances here from the house, including the latest fragrance, Oud for Happiness. If you haven't caught my review from a day ago, go catch it. It's on the channel and it tells you exactly what I think about the fragrance. But before I get to the ranking, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed to the channel, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So I first discovered INITIO Parfums, I believe, gosh, was it like 2017 or 2016, somewhere around there. And I actually first reviewed on the channel Side Effect, which is here on the list. That fragrance reminds me of Parfums de Marly, which I think the brand is associated with Marly, but they're separate but related kind of a thing. But I've got 11 fragrances here. Not everything is here. I don't own every single one of the fragrances. And I also have the magnetic blends here, all 3 of them. But this is a pretty good ranking for me, and you're probably going to be surprised. But this is how I feel about these fragrances. Let's go ahead and get started with magnetic blend number 1, which is this right here. Magnetic blend number 1 is an ambergris and amber fragrance, very, very musky and animalic experience. So the magnetic blends are created to, I guess, enhance, to boost the other fragrances in the INITIO Parfums fragrances, but you can also wear them on your own. So for example, let's say you're taking magnetic blend 1 and combining it with Oud for Greatness, you're going to have a more of a musky, animalic, ambergris-like effect, amplifying this particular fragrance. So that's the kind of thing you would use these for, or wear them on their own, because they are a little minimalistic on their own, but some of them I do enjoy. This one I've put here because it is a little animalic, a little too much animalic. But if you like the idea of animalic ambergris with ambery touches, musky touches, then Magnetic Blend 1 is the one for you. So that is at number 11. So Magnetic Blend number 8 is at number 10. The reason this one's here is I feel like out of the 3 magnetic blends, it seems to be the more complex one. Definitely more complex than Magnetic Blend 7, which is also on the list, but still pretty complex than Magnetic Blend 1, which is the one at number 11. This one to me is mostly about incense and resins and smoky, incensey, woody. So it features incense, Olibanum, and Oakmoss. Again, it does wear a little minimalistic, but it's also definitely the most complex out of the 3 for me. And if you like the idea of churchy incense, cold, cool, crisp woods, resins and things like that, you can definitely try this one. And again, you can enhance it with another fragrance. For example, if you add it to or layer it with REHAB, you're going to get this little more of a woody, smoky, resinous thing happening, contrasted with REHAB. And I'm wearing REHAB right now, and I've forgotten how great it is. It smells great. It does really remind me of something from Marly, but I think it's definitely a solid fragrance. Got the aromatic, spicy touches of the lavender with woods. But you know, you can totally wear Magnetic Blend 8 on its own. So that's at number 10. So here's the shocker part, number 1. Oud for Happiness is at number 9. I've ranked it pretty low. If you want to understand more about why it's ranked at number 9, you can go catch my review if you haven't caught it. But in the end, this one, you know, out of the rest of the fragrances, I enjoy the rest of the collection a lot more. I don't enjoy this one less than Magnetic Blend 1 and 8, but it fell at number 9 because, as I said, the rest are a little more interesting to me. And this, to me, again, and as I mentioned in my review, it's kind of like the Calon of this particular house. Calon, to me, is unique, but it just doesn't draw me. Like it doesn't say come wear me kind of a thing. And this one is kind of like that as well. I enjoy the uniqueness of the smell, but it doesn't excite me. But in the end, it's got musk, cedar, oud, ginger, bergamot, licorice, vanilla, aromatic herbal notes. So those are the notes listed here, and it wears very musky, powdery, woody. That's what's really doing this particular fragrance. Not much oud comes in. I don't get the oudy experience with this one. It's more oud wood and more, you know, wood than oud. But you know, it's a pleasant scent. You might dig this one and do this ranking a little differently, but for me, I'm putting Oud for Happiness at number 9. Next fragrance at number 8 is Side Effect, and I had a little bit of a difficult time deciding which one goes where, Oud for Happiness or Side Effect. In the end, Oud for Happiness ended up at 9, Side Effect ended up at 8, and this is still at the bottom, and I like this fragrance, but I don't love it. You know, it needs a little more oomph to it or something. It just seems a little subdued. But still, it's a rummy, vanillic, ambery, tobacco, cinnamon fragrance. That's pretty much all that's going on. I just wish it was a little more intense and had a lot more presence. But if you like the idea of boozy notes with vanilla tobacco, and spicy kind of ambery touches, this is definitely one for you to try. Also, the other thing with this one is it kind of reminds me of something like Jazz Club, the Pavillon Rouge, Santal Complet, and you know, fragrances like that where it kind of goes into this kind of like boozy, woody, ambery kind of a direction with tobacco. So that's Side Effect at number 8. Again, it was a toss-up between Oud for Happiness or Side Effect, but you know, Side Effect in the end won out. But this one actually is one of the magnetic blends. This is number 7, Magnetic Blend 7 at number 7. And I really like this one. It's very slow. I mean, it's very close to the skin. It's subtle. It's more of a skin scent on its own. It's definitely that. Mixed in with other fragrances, I could see this, you know, doing a little more, you know, intensification of the fragrances. But I put it here because I like it on its own minimalistically. It's a little expensive as a bed scent, but I do wear this to bed. I like its muskiness, its powderiness, slight ambery touches. And I think it would be perfect for something like, you can add it to something like Side Effect to make it a little more musky. You can add it to something like, let's see which one, Atomic Rose to give it a little more of a musky touch. But the musk in here is not animalic. It's just perfect and comforting to wear, and I like it. It's very, very minimalistic, as I said, and also a skin scent. Some of you like skin scent, some of you don't. I think it's a great layering tool to some fragrances. It won't work with all fragrances, though. You got to kind of like test them out to see what it works with. But in the end, number 7 is Magnetic Blend 7 from the house of INITIO Parfums. So at number 6, it's Blessed Baraka. So this one is created by Alberto Morillas, and it's an amber musk sandalwood fusion. And in the end, it's a little vanillic, it's lots of amber, it's definitely powdery, woody. And I think the brand overall has a powdery quality to it. Magnetic Blend 1 and Magnetic Blend 7 are very powdery fragrances. Oud for Happiness is a powdery fragrance. Musk Therapy is a powdery fragrance. REHAB is a powdery fragrance. So there's a lot of powdery, you know, touches in this collection, and Blessed Baraka is as well. And I do enjoy this one. I like the amberiness, but it's a little unique with that musk and sandalwood. So it's kind of a creamy, powdery sandalwood with the, you know, resinous, ambery, sweet, vanillic touches along with musk. So that's what Blessed Baraka is all about. If you don't know this one, check it out. It's at number 6. Here is shocker number 2. Oud for Greatness at number 5. Why is this one here? Well, you know, I like other fragrances in this house, and I think this one got the negative grade because it does remind me of Baccarat Rouge a lot, and I don't find a lot of oud in here. But as a smell, it's great. I enjoy this a lot more than Oud for Happiness. Oud for Greatness is a lot much more nicer to me. And it's a smell I want, you know, I want to wear it, whereas I'm trying to like crave the smell of Oud for Happiness. It's just not getting there. But in the end, they say that this has notes of saffron, oud, nutmeg, lavender, patchouli, and musk. Is there really oud in here? They don't credit ambroxan, but there is that kind of ambroxan type of muskiness in here, which I quite like. It's more woody, lots of saffron, and of course a little lavender and patchouli as well. I like it. I do like it. It deserves the number 5 spot here in this particular video. On the other hand, I much prefer Atomic Rose over Oud for Greatness. I like Atomic Rose because yes, it has a faint amount of that kind of Baccarat Rouge happening under there that'll pop through a little bit and you'll notice it. It depends on the person. Some people get it a lot more than others. I get it a little bit contrasted with lots of Bulgarian and Turkish rose in here because it has lots of rose. Also has Hedione, a little pink pepper, bergamot, jasmine, vanilla, and amber. For me, I get a very green touch with this one, almost like stems, rose twigs. And then the rose in here is not necessarily ultra jammy, not syrupy, jammy kind of rose. More of a dry rose, a younger rose, and of course, as I'm saying, it's a green rose. So it wears fresh. It's quite sexy. It smells fantastic. I love the rose in here. And again, it's a great smelling fragrance. I guess when that Baccarat Rouge touch comes in, it does become kind of unoriginal, but I really do enjoy this particular fragrance because it has lots of rose in it. So Atomic Rose at number 4. Let me know if you are any fans of these particular fragrances so far, and what do you think about them. I know this house has a lot of fans, so let me know if you like any of the fragrances I've discussed so far. So at number 3, it's REHAB, and REHAB, as I said, is really a great fragrance. It does remind me of something from Parfums de Marly, and I think it makes sense because this house is related to the Marly brand a little bit, or somehow connected. I don't know the technicalities, but I get that they're kind of connected, especially since this one really does remind me of something like Leighton. It has that kind of Leighton-y kind of a smell, because in the end it's a creamy wood. It's got sandalwood and Guaiac wood, so creamy touches, but it's got lavender, bergamot, sandalwood, musk, vetiver, cedar, patchouli, and Guaiac wood. For me, I also get kind of like a light tobacco-ish touch in here. It kind of hints at more of like a lavender and tobacco, kind of a fougere type smell. So in the end, it's a great smelling fragrance. I really like this one a lot. The lavender is prominent, but not overly pungent. The sandalwood and Guaiac wood, as I said, is creamy, and there's a little bit of like tobacco-ish something running throughout it. And of course, it's got muskiness and a few other notes in here. It's a very sexy fragrance. I really like this one. That's why it's at number 3. Okay, number 2. Can you guess which one it is? Number 2 is Musk Therapy. This is really good. As I mentioned in my review for Oud for Happiness, both of these came out this year, but I much prefer Musk Therapy over Oud for Happiness, as I said. I just love the way it smells. Musk Therapy smells fantastic. I really love it. It's clean, it's soapy, it's fruity, it's green, but very musky and powdery. I love the way it smells on me. It's a little subdued, but not a lot, but it's just the perfect kind of a fragrance to wear on a very hot day. It's got notes of musks, black currant, bergamot, mandarin orange, white sandalwood, magnolia, and Hedione. Perfect fragrance. If you like that kind of fruity, green, musky fragrance experience, definitely check out Musk Therapy. I think it smells fantastic. And again, if a fragrance smells fantastic and it draws me in, I'm going to put that up there higher up in my lists than fragrances that don't. And that's why Oud for Happiness is at number 9, whereas Musk Therapy is at number 2, because I really love the way it smells. And again, this is all very subjective. You might think this list in the reverse. You might think Musk Therapy deserves the number 9 spot and Oud for Happiness deserves the number 2 spot. Everything is very subjective. This is what I think of these fragrances, and I really love Musk Therapy. But at number 1, I recently featured this in a underhyped fragrances video, niche fragrances that are underhyped. Absolute Aphrodisiac. Boy, where have I been with this fragrance? It is a stunning, gorgeous, beautifully spicy vanilla fragrance. I recently took this on a trip. I went with a few friends, and some friends I didn't really know that liked fragrances. Turned out they do, and thinking, okay, they're not going to like vanilla. Turns out they like vanilla, and they were kind of obsessed with this one. So we were looking up notes, and I was kind of educating my friends about where to look up notes and things like that. So they were very curious, and my friend kept asking me, can I spray a little bit more of Absolute Aphrodisiac from INITIO Parfums? But yes, this is a really delicious vanilla, musky, a little animalic, leathery, but quite delicious. And this is a late discovery for me from this house, and I'm absolutely obsessed with the way it smells. I mean, it's a given. I like vanilla to begin with, but really, if you're looking for a kind of a lightly leathery, spicy vanilla with little boozy undertones, and of course leathery touches and a little musky castoreum touches, definitely got to try Absolute Aphrodisiac. And that's my list. This is how I would rank the fragrances. I'm a little disappointed that I ranked Oud for Happiness at number 9, but I went through this list several times, and that's how it ended up. And it's just the way I feel about the fragrance. It's a kind of fragrance that's not drawing me in, whereas Absolute Aphrodisiac, I want more kind of a thing, you know? I want more. It's delicious. One thing I should also say about Absolute Aphrodisiac, there is a little bit of a milkiness. There's a lactonic undertone there, giving the, even though it's powdery, once again, it's powdery, it's also ambery, but there is that little milkiness running throughout the fragrance that makes it kind of gourmand. You just have to like castoreum and a little bit of a leathery touch, musky castoreum touch. Anyway, Absolute Aphrodisiac at number 1. And that's my ranking. What fragrances am I missing from this brand? I should check and see what else is missing. But this is how I feel about these fragrances right now. If you're a vanilla fan, you gotta try Absolute Aphrodisiac. Really, really delicious. And I think my top 3 is fantastic. I think these are really, really solid. These are the best from this house, I personally think, and I really love wearing them. I should also go to the extent of saying number 4 with Atomic Rose as well. But I feel like 3, 2, and 1 is really, really solid. But let me know what your thoughts are on this collection of fragrances. How would you rank this list of these particular fragrances? Or perhaps maybe just the top 5. How would you put your top 5 together? Put a comment down so I can find out. Either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.